Just give it up for Rich Baker!
Yeah, all right. Thanks for coming out, guys. All right, my name is Rich Baker, and I'm neither of those things. I don't have a lot of money, and I don't cook. What are you going to do? I was not aptly named. In fact, I let my roommates do most of the cooking. I have 2 roommates, mom and dad. Kind of cramps the party lifestyle. I love eating out. I don't cook very much, and I always have weird experiences when I eat out. Like the other day, I was at a Burger King drive-thru, and I thought it was going to be a pretty painless experience, and I pull up, and the first thing the girl says out of a little squawk box is this for here to go? All right. I know how to talk to this person. Slowly. So I ordered what I thought was pretty simple, which was, my friend was in the car with me. He wanted a Whopper with mayonnaise. I wanted a Whopper with mustard. I didn't think you could screw that up. So I pull up to the drive-thru, and she hands me a bag with 2 burgers. We're good so far. And one of the burgers on the wrapping has an M written on it to differentiate between mayonnaise and mustard. Now I'm curious. I open up the burger, it's got mayonnaise inside. I'm like, okay, mayonnaise gets an M. Okay, I wonder what mustard gets. So I hand that to my friend, and I pull it up. It doesn't have anything written on the package, so I guess, okay, mustard doesn't deserve a letter for whatever reason. So I open it up, and it's got mayonnaise in it. And I'm like, come on, what is the system? Can't just one M or no M's? And I'm like, hang on, Rich, you're getting mad at a Burger King employee. Calm down. It's like getting mad at your dog for not shutting the back door behind him. I'm not saying Burger King employees are dumb. It's just like, what? You shouldn't expect much. They make minimum wage. They have to work with the public all day. If I worked there, I'd be bored out of my mind. I'd write cryptic messages on the burgers like, I'll see you tonight. You smell great. You shouldn't expect much. It's not like it's not like a big Broadway show. It's Burger King. You know, your order's not going to be delivered by Joel Grey from Cabaret. Like, welcome to Burger King. You're in for a treat. We've got 2 buns and a flame-broiled meat. That's unlikely. A good friend of mine said once to me, she said that when she eats out, because she loves to cook, but when she does eat out, that when she looks at the menu, if she can make it herself at home, then she won't order it off the menu. And I thought, that's interesting, because that doesn't at all limit my options. It would have to be a pretty shady place for me to look at this and go, oh, I can make that. What could be on the menu? Like, oh, I can't order this. The Captain Crunch peanut butter straight out of the box while sitting in my underwear on the couch. I can do that at home, thank you very much. I came here for cuisine. I think the worst job in the world for me would be the host of a cooking show. It would just be very monotonous. Be like, all right, welcome to Wednesday's show. This is Cooking with Rich. Today, we're going to learn how to cook a frozen pepperoni pizza. And tomorrow's show, we're going to learn how to cook a frozen sausage pizza. And Friday's show, buckle your hats. Buckle your belts. Hang on to your... Buckle your hats! Because you're a Puritan. Apparently. That's who would watch my cooking show. Yeah. On Friday's show, we're going to tackle the elusive Campbell's soup can. The trick is adding water. Actually, the trick is keeping your self-respect. I don't eat healthy. I wish I did. I have a lot of friends who are vegan, and they seem like they're pretty healthy people, but I can't go vegan. I've tried. I just don't have the ability. And it's not because I have this craving for certain types of meats or anything like that. I can't go vegan because of the impending zombie apocalypse. Let me explain. See, if you stop eating meat for a while, the human body just stops producing the enzymes necessary to digest that meat, and now you can't. So you try to eat it, and your body kicks it right back. It's really gross. And so when the zombies finally attack, and they will, you can just imagine that scenario. I'm running from a horde of zombies, and I'm like, I'm hungry, so I see a supermarket, and I go, okay, I'm gonna stop in there, and I'm gonna get provisions. I'm gonna take it somewhere safe and eat it later. If I'm a vegan, that really hinders me. I'm like, okay, wait. No, this has meat in it. Okay, wait. Oh, this was fried with animal fat. I can't do that. All right. This has, it was made with chicken stock. And, oh, someone's eating my brains. The zombies didn't stop to see if I had chicken stock in me. And then I died because I was vegan. And I thought about that. I was like, if I was vegan and a zombie bit me, I become a zombie. But does that mean I'm a vegan zombie? Am I now a member of the undead with an insatiable hunger for grains? And I thought about that, like, every zombie takes the traits of the person that they were before. So, like, are there zombie Boy Scouts going to be helping zombie old ladies across the street? Are zombie rednecks still going to wear their leather jackets into their 40s? Is a zombie Justin Bieber still going to suck? But zombie teenage girls will still be liking him because they're idiots. They might be smarter as zombies, I don't know. I shouldn't talk about women like that, even teenage girls. I do think that beautiful women are ruining the planet. But that's just me. And it's because, like, I have the hardest time talking to women. When I talk to a girl, unless we've had a long, like, very friendly relationship and I've known you forever, like, I start fumbling my words and I get real sweaty and I start shuffling my feet. And that's just my grandma's bridge team. I mean, imagine if they're attractive. But it affects my normal life because last year I had an appointment with a dermatologist because I had this weird thing on my back. I didn't know what it was. And you don't shop for doctors by picture, so I didn't know who this person was. I didn't know if it was a man or a woman or anything. So I'm waiting in that waiting room, and I'm like sitting down. I've got that gown on, and it's freezing, and I'm kind of uncomfortable. I'm like, when is the doctor gonna get here? And in through this door walks this 35-year-old, green-eyed, blonde hair, just gorgeous woman who looked like she just walked out of Hottie Dermatologist Monthly. If you haven't heard of that, it's because I just made it up. And all of a sudden now I can't get help with my problem because I'm just like, and she's trying to be a doctor because she's not fazed by things like this. And she's like, okay, Mr. Baker, excellent. Cool, so you have an unexplained rash on your back. And I'm like, nah. Not me. I am all good. Really? Because it says on my, did I have the wrong sheet? I don't know what you're talking about. You're real pretty. Do you like being a doctor? Do you like skin? And it still itches. I swear, I think the best example of this was a couple years ago. I was at my 10-year high school reunion, and I was talking to this girl, Carol, who we'd known each other all through school, and we were just talking. She's married now, so it's fine. I'm not intimidated by her because I don't think that there's a chance. But so we're talking, and she's like, you know, I always kind of hoped that you'd ask me out in high school, and I was like, really? Because I had the biggest crush on you in high school, and she was like, wow, I had no idea because you barely ever talk to me. And I go, exactly. I never talked to you. That means I had the biggest crush on you. I don't talk to women I like. I could screw it up. I mean, this would be like I think this was like sophomore year, I think it was. We're in class, and she sits next to me, and she's like, hey, Rich, can I, my pen ran out of ink. Can I borrow your pen? And I'm like, yeah. Pens, they're funny. Because just ran out like that, huh? It should have a warning light, like on a car. She's like, yeah, can I just have a pen? And I'm like, yeah, do you want a blue pen or a black pen? Or I've got a click pen. I've got all kinds of pens. And she's like, I don't care, just give me a pen. I'm like, you're so cool. You don't even care what pen you have. It is a miracle when I get a girlfriend. I had a girlfriend last year. She was a high school English teacher. And she also coached the women's high school water polo team. So I thought I'd be a good boyfriend and come see one of their games or matches or whatever it is. So I go there, and I'm sitting in the stands at this high school women's water polo game. And I look around, and in the stands are parents, makes sense, students, and me. A 30-year-old man sitting by himself, staring at a bunch of girls in swimsuits batting a ball around a pool. And it didn't dawn on me at first. I was like, everyone's kind of staring at me. That's weird. I'm a pedophile. Got it. And I got real nervous. Go figure. And so I just try and ignore it and get into the game. And I'm like, come on, you can do it. You can win. If you win, I'll take you out for ice cream after. That sounds weird. I'm like, so then I try and smooth it over. So the guy who's staring at me to my left, I look at him and I'm like, no, it's okay because my girlfriend's down there. God dang it. I'm still not allowed back at that school. I did take a girl out the other night with chloroform. My kind of lady. I like to not remember it. Yeah, she's resting comfortably in my basement. When she gets off this high and mighty attitude and agrees to go on a date with me, well, that's when she can get untied. Don't hate the player, hate the game. I don't have game. What are you talking about? You know those guys, there's probably a lot of them in this room. Just going up to a girl you've never met before and you start talking to her and you get her phone number, she goes home with you and like you just have this ability to just speak and you're like the Pied Piper of women. I don't have that ability. I don't have the game. I have my own game, which is a little different. See, I befriend a girl. And then I wait. 2, 5, 10 years. Boyfriend after heartbreak, after pet running away, after near-death experience, a weird changing of religions. And then, once she's given up all hope and faith in humanity, that's when I swoop down, much like a vulture. I strike while the iron is 40 pounds overweight and working at a Denny's. Works for me. You guys are great. All right. I'd like to do an impression for you now. And this is my impression of a white guy who's doing an impression of a black guy. I wouldn't do an impression of a black guy. That'd be offensive. No. And the black guy that this white guy is impersonating is also, he's a stand-up comic who's never done it before, and he's trying out new material at an open mic. So here we go. Oh, man. Man. You know white dudes, man? White dudes always carrying pens, man. It's like white dudes got a pen, man. What's a white dude need with a pen, man? What's he gotta write? White dudes always carrying pens, man. You need a pen? You go to a white dude, man. Cause that white dude's got a pen, man. You know he got one. You wear your pen, man. He'll pull it out. White dudes, man. White dude be like, excuse me, do you need a writing utensil? Click. White dudes, man. White dudes in a pen. White dudes. Pen. That's my black guy. And it's true. It's funny because it's true. I was in Alaska not too long ago, and in Alaska, if you've been there, most of the towns have signs all over the place that say, "Yield to bears." Unnecessary signage. You don't have to tell this guy to yield to a bear. Okay, I'm gonna cross the street to avoid walking in front of the homeless guy. The bear has the right of way. I don't know why that sign exists. I can only imagine that at some point in history, someone argued with a bear. Excuse me, sir, but I had the right of way. And then the bear won that argument. It just seems like, why would you have that sign? That'd be like if they had a sign here in Hawaii that said, "Don't eat the lava." Only need to tell me once. Oh man, do you guys, who remembers Blockbuster Video? Yeah. I loved that place, and you don't barely find them anymore. There's a few still left. But man, Blockbuster, that place ruled. Because like nowadays, you want a movie, it comes to your computer via iTunes or Netflix or whatever, you get it straight to your TV, and like, what's the fun in that? Blockbuster used to be you spent more time going to get the movie than you spent watching the movie. It is. And me and my friends, we would go and like, first of all, you gotta drive somewhere to watch a movie at home, which now is like, why? You're already at home. But then like, we'd go and we'd split up. Like half of us would start in the A's, and half of us would start in the Z's, and then we'd meet somewhere like in the M's, and we'd all have like a stack of movies like, oh, what'd you get? Okay, what'd you get? All right, well, let's decide. All right, well, not that one and this one. And it was like, that was an experience. And Blockbuster was kind of weird because it only had one entrance and one exit, and there were metal detectors. It was more heavily guarded than most high schools. And like, and the new releases would be new releases for like a year and a half. And I remember, like, and those were never out, because they had like a zillion copies of new releases. But if you had the hankering for an old movie and you went in there, sometimes they don't have one copy, and it was gone. And I remember like one time at the Blockbuster, and I pick up the DVD case or whatever, and I look back, and they don't have a copy of the movie for me to rent. And I'm like, who the heck else in this town wants to watch Breakin' 2 Electric Boogaloo? An awesome person is the answer. And I never did, but I always wanted to go up to the clerk and be like, excuse me, could you tell me who checked that out? Because I would like to go with them. Just show up at their house with popcorn like, movie night, right, guys? Yeah. My name's Rich. But Blockbusters, they're going away, and I hate that because they were everywhere. They were like one of the biggest corporations in the world for a while. I think the CEO of Blockbuster probably thinks of his business like I think of my hair. In the mid-90s, man, this thing's gonna last forever. And then in the 2000s, Like, it was still there, but it wasn't as strong. But it still existed. But it kind of went away a little bit. And then, we tried Rogaine, which doesn't work. Anyway. And now, I think both me and the CEO of Blockbuster know it's just a matter of time. Yeah. I love Blockbuster. I think that I'll probably be that guy, like, gather round, kids. Grandpa's got a story to tell you. Now, back in my day, when we wanted to watch a movie, we had to leave the house. What? Oh. We had to walk through the snow for miles. And then, when we watched the movie, we had to return it. But not right away. First, we had to rewind it. Grandpa, what does rewind mean? Kids. Thinking of my growing up in the 90s, I love that. Like going to Blockbuster was fun, all that stuff. I loved movies. I still love movies. But the movies of that hit me when I was a child and a teenager, those are the ones that I'll remember forever. And it comes out a lot because for example, I was at a restaurant just the other day and one of the waitresses, who might even be in this room, said to my friend, would you like some tea? Or he ordered tea, and she turned to me, and she said, would you like tea too? And all I could think in my head was, T2 Judgment Day! Come with me if you want to live. And I got happy. Turns out she meant tea also. Which is the lame Terminator. They never made a tea also. I wouldn't even be afraid of that Terminator. Oh, God. I am getting older. I'm 30 years old, which isn't old. I know it's not old, but it's older. And I can tell because I'm starting to sense that I'm getting lame. And I'm not saying I was ever cool, but I was cooler at one point. And I can tell you this because when I was in college, for example, I never had a conversation about the weather. That just didn't happen. You know why? Because college was awesome. And everything was great. You didn't have time to talk about the weather. You had friends all around you 24 hours a day. You had road trips just leaving to New Mexico every 5 minutes for no reason. You'd be standing there, and all of a sudden an ultimate frisbee game breaks out in front of you, and you catch a frisbee and hey, do you want to play? Yeah, I do. And there were girls everywhere. And I wasn't any better with the ladies back then, but I mean, they were all over the place. I mean, you walk around an orchard, you're bound to get hit by an apple. So you didn't have time to talk about the weather, because guess what? A rainy day was still awesome. But then you get a little bit older, things start slowing down, you don't have as many friends. All of a sudden, a rainy day is a huge news event in your life. Your buddy's like, oh, it rained the other day. Yeah, I know, right? Let's talk about it for 20 minutes. And what changed in me where all of a sudden I find the weather so fascinating? And I do this now, and if you haven't done this yet, you probably will, but some of you can relate to me. I had a conversation about doing my taxes. Out in not at an H&R Block, with friends, when we could have been doing anything, and I'm talking about doing my taxes. Do you know the most boring job on the planet is an accountant? Why? Because they work with taxes. No, it's oh, well, you know what I did this year is I itemized my deductions because I had this home office and I was able to take it off, and it's shut up! Oh, I've become lame. Don't feel sorry for me. I'm already dead. That's not nice to dead people. I had a thought the other day. If horses ran the city council, nothing would ever get passed. All in favor? All opposed? Well, I guess the nays have it. 4 nays to 1 Winnie. I don't know how to tabulate that. I guess we're not bringing Hall & Oates to town. Thought that one would have passed. I was on the Green Line in Chicago. Anyone here from Chicago? Couple of you, yeah? So if you're not familiar with Chicago, we have this big public transit system, and the Green Line goes directly west of the city. I was out in the suburbs with a friend, and he didn't want to drive me all the way back to my home, so he dropped me off at the edge of the Green Line, and you know where this is going. At 1 o'clock in the morning. Now, the Green Line at the very edge is like this really nice suburban neighborhood, and then at the other end is downtown Chicago. In between are some of the scariest neighborhoods in the Midwest. And he drops me off, and I didn't think anything of it until I got on the train, and I was like, I'm on the Green Line at 1 in the morning, alone and nervous. And so I get on the train, there's no one on, and I just sit down, and I'm thinking, just let's get lucky, and no one will get on the train, and I'll just go all the way downtown, and I'll get out of these neighborhoods, and everything will be fine. Very next stop. 10, how shall I put it, big scary black guys get on. I wasn't scared because they were black. They could have been 10 Girl Scouts on sleeping pills, and I would have been nervous. Like, anyone who's comfortable riding the Green Line at that hour, I am scared of. So I'm sitting there, and I'm just like, okay, they're not bothering me. Everything's fine. I'm just going to keep my head down, and nothing's going to happen. And then within like a minute, I hear one of them go, hey, man, what you doing on this train? Darn it. So I'm like, maybe someone else is on the train. Maybe he's not talking to me. And I've got my head. So I'm like sitting and my head, I'm just like focused on the ground. I'm like staring a hole through the floor of the train, just not looking up. Please don't talk to me again. And he walks up to me, and I can tell because I can see his shoes. And he's like, obviously talking to me. It could not be mistaken. He's like, hey man, what you doing on this train? And I thought to myself, what are the odds that he wants to borrow a pen? Well, if you're familiar with biology, when we're really scared, all mammals have a fight or flight option. Neither of those were options for me. I'm not gonna fight 10 black guys. I'm not gonna fight one old man. So, and I'm not gonna fly away because I'm stuck on a train. Because my friend wouldn't drop me off at home. So I said to myself, well, what defense mechanisms do we have at our disposal? I'm an actor, so I feigned being retarded. I'm not proud of it. What you doing on this train? My dog's name is Lollipop. You have nice shoes. And he went, oh, hell no. Here's the kicker. Turns out they were 10 really nice guys, and they all gathered around and were like, hey man, you shouldn't be on this train by yourself. So now I'm the racist who's acting retarded. And I had to fake it all the way down the Green Line. Thank you for hanging out with me. Good thing I'm a method actor. Racism. I love being a comic. It is my favorite thing. I want to do comedy till the day I die. But I've understood that the profession that I have chosen does not exactly put me high up on the social ladder. If the world is exploding and they only have so much room on those life-saving rockets they're going to take us to space, I'm not likely going to get a seat. Doctors, scientists, inventors, they're going to be the first ones on. Then after that, the Burger King employees, and the high school women's water polo coaches, and the horses that run city council. Hi, I'd like to get on the ship, please. Okay, what do you do? Well, I sit in my room alone and I write jokes and I tell them to people at comedy clubs. Step out of line, sir. Okie dokie. And I realized this conclusion when I was on an airplane, and over the little speaker thing, the pilot came on, and he said, excuse me, passengers, if you're a doctor, could you ring your call button? We need some medical attention up at the front. So go ahead and ring your call button if you're a doctor. I was like, wow, someone needs medical attention. That's pretty intense. And I thought, wow, at no point in the future will I ever hear, excuse me, passengers, do we have a comedian on board? The co-pilot has a major case of the frowny face, and just ring your call button if you're a comedian. Ding! Someone needs to laugh. Guys, my name's Rich. That's my time. Thanks a bunch.